All recorded. I record everything. Don't worry. So if somebody's watching you, just over here. If somebody's watching you breathe, they won't even notice the rise and the fall. So it's very light. It's like, so you won't see like my shirt coming up or anything. It's like it's very quiet, very light and quiet. So okay, now opposite. So it's quite heavy breathing. Again, not tense, but it's heavy breathing. So if there were a candle, you would see it moving now, and your body is going to be physically moving too. So deep, quite heavy breathing. Not tense, but heavy. Okay, back to light breathing now again. So very light. So the body doesn't move too much. You didn't bother the too much a candle. So it's very light and quiet. Heavy again. Good. Just normal breathing now. Just so it's not heavy, it's not light, it's somewhere in between. Good. Lie down on your stomachs for me. Yeah. Good. Good. Hands beside you in a push-up. So nice as light. So you have to kind of think of very light, okay? And very slowly come up as light as you can. And then go down as light as you can. So don't rush now. You can take breaks whenever you want. I think about being light. I breathe light and I try to come up light and I come down light. And then you might do only one, I don't know. And then take a break and do, but be light. So make like the lightest possible push-up you can, right? Really relax yourself, really lighten your breathing and come up light. You might have to take a break in between, I don't know, but you really want a light push-up. There will be a little bit of tension just to do the exercise, but the least amount. Try to think light too, guys. Think light. Okay, now the opposite, so heavier, right? So I think about heavy breathing. I think about heavy things like something heavy on my back, and it's not tense. Remember, that's the most important. It's not tension, but it's heaviness. Like I have something heavy on my back, my breathing's heavy, and I have something heavy on my mind. Like sometimes you have like a big problem, or so you have like some heavy in your mind, heavy, you're breathing heavy in your body. And you, again, you might have to take a break to find heaviness, but think heavy, breathe heavy, and be heavy in the push-up, but not tense. Okay, guys, come close now. So I want you to, while we're doing this, we'll do it again, but I can't see in your head, but I can only express to you what's going on in my head. And then see if you can use that as an example. So first thing you want to think about is think about either light or heavy. That's your choice. So you debate this, right? So when I think light, I think about my energy going everywhere, like all over the place, but not down. I want to be light, right? When I want to be heavy, I think about something on my back, like a backpack or a person, right? So it could be like, anyway, that idea of some weight on me, right? And I focus my relaxation down, not everywhere. So when I want to be light, I focus my relaxation everywhere. When I want to be heavy, I focus it down. Okay? So I have what I think, and then what marries what I think and what I do is my breath. So if I think heavy, I breathe heavy. And when I breathe heavy, I do heavy work, right? So you have to have that in your mind. You can't say, I want to be light, but I have heavy thoughts. You see how it doesn't work, right? So first I get the feeling in my head, then I get it in the breathing. So either light breathing. So if I'm thinking about something very light, I lighten my breathing. Light breathing doesn't move my body too much. And then I come up. If I want to be heavy, I think about something heavy. I breathe heavy. And I move heavy. You see the process that I'm going through? You need to make sure that you have a good process to follow this stuff, okay? So I'll give you some couple of minutes. I'm going to do 2. So you can say light, 1 push-up, think, breathe, do, and then heavy, think, breathe, do. And make sure that all those things work for you. You have to make sure that you feel heavy if you're thinking and doing those things, okay? Or light, whichever it is. So a couple of minutes, try it on your own, how to feel heavy or light in your push-up. Try to have that under your control. It's your choice. Okay, try it. Awesome, guys. Come close. Let me just unmute you for a second. No. Okay. How was it? Could you feel the heavy and light? Did you feel that? Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, there's a thought, there's a breathing, and then there's a feeling, right? These all come together. That's important when you're doing it. Makes sense? No. Did anybody not feel it at all? No? We all got it, right? So let's try a few other ways just to get the feeling good, right? So you can sit up, whatever you like, but try now with your hands. Okay, so just try with your hands. So make a fist, right? Make a fist, but it should be right. So same, like make a traditional fist. There it is, right? Fist, right? Now open your hands, okay? Open your hands and make that same fist as light as you can. As so light. And then open it light right? Open your hands lightly, right? Really light. So you try to cut no disturbance here, right? Make it heavy, the fist. Not tense. And then quite heavy. So just defining a light fist. Yeah, how to make a light fist and let it open. And then not a tense, but a heavy fist. And again, think heavy, breathe heavy, think light, breathe light, make the fist. I'm thinking something heavy now. When I make a heavy fist, think something light, really nice and light. I soften my breathing and I make a fist. And it should change, guys. That should be something you see when you change how you think and breathe. You see, you make the same fist, but it won't be heavy. It will be exactly what you thought it was. You have to see, guys, what you think can influence how you are. Open your hands up. So again, lightly think, lightly give yourself a hug, really light, no tension, right? Right? Again, light breathing, open yourself, so everything is very light. Okay? Think something heavy now, breathing heavy, and it's a heavy self-hug. Light thinking, really light breathing, so soft. And the hug is the same, but it's lighter. Heavy thoughts, heavy breathing. No tension, no tension, check. Don't flare up your muscles, just heaviness. And play with this idea, guys. Think light, breathe light, hug light. Think heavy, breathe heavy, hug heavy, but not tense. How was it, guys? How was it? So let me ask you some questions. What in your eyes, what did you pick to think heavy? What's a heavy, something heavy for you? Like we know this with food. Or think of a heavy food, right? You know foods that are heavy. Steak, liver, gravy, you know, like think of, you need to have a good visual in your head of something, right? Sometimes in our life, we may be a heavy conversation or heavy people. I'm sure you have friends like this. They're just heavy people. Like not, they just, it takes a lot to be around them all the time. They just gotta get wild a little bit, right? Think of heavy conversations, right? What's a heavy conversation? A heavy conversation, you know, a deep conversation. And what's a light conversation, right? Like think of those. You have to have that clear in your mind, right? And when you have that idea in your mind, then your breathing has to match. It has to match those things, right? I remember meeting a quite a famous person, and a guy came up to him and asked him and poked him right in the head. And I just literally poked this famous guy in the head and said, "What are you thinking in there when you do that?" It was like a guitarist. He goes, "What are you thinking?" But he touched the guy. And you saw for a moment his mind like got so angry, you know, for the person to touch him here. You saw his eyes got mad. But then at the time I saw him soften his breathing, and right away he smiled a little bit. He says, "There's a lot going on inside." But you see, for a moment, his thought got heavy. His thought got heavy. And you saw right away the breathing got heavy, and his action was going to be heavy now. Right? Words were going to be too, right? So the process is more important than me than what you're physically doing now. You know how to breathe, you know how to grab, this stuff you know, but the process is important. First your thought, then your breathing, then your action. Don't do like breathing, like people, but they never change their thought. Okay, so the thought is very important. Take a second, think of something that's light to you, light. That's important. And then make sure you know what light breathing is. For me, light breathing doesn't move me too much, and it feels very soft, right? It feels soft to me. Heavy breathing, there's a lot of movement, right? Like when you're running, right? It's like heavy breathe, lots of movement. Um, Not necessarily tension, but lots of movement, okay? So that, for me, that's what heavy breathing is, okay? And so you have to clear. Light breathing feels soft and motionless. Heavy is movement, okay? And thoughts as well. I have heavy thoughts or light thoughts in my head. And then I do whatever we're doing, okay? So once you try that again, and make sure that you really understand how important the process is, not the individual thing, it's the process that's important, right? You know, has what you do has many meanings, and the process has a meaning. What you do first sets up your whole day. Okay? I remember my parents say, "Wake up and make your bed," because if you get that right, everything else will fall in line, right? Like it's a process. Start it right, and starting it right is by your thinking. Clear up your thinking is very important. Okay, we're gonna try body raises now and leg raises. Okay, and again, you do one after the other. A heavy one, a light one. A heavy one, a light one, but not tense. That's the big difference. Okay, try it for a couple of minutes. Let's do it. We'll do it together. You can watch me, or you can whatever you want. Body raises or leg raises, your choice.
Hey, Manny, I have a question. From the outside, it doesn't necessarily look different, does it?
No, that's the issue. It's very, you have to be really good to notice the difference. Very good. It's really internal, you know, it's like, it's something, because who can see your thinking, right? It's
Mhm.
very breathing a little bit I can see, and then for sure body I can see as well. But the thought is different, right? The thought. So yeah, it'll be harder to detect for sure. Okay. Awesome, guys. Come close. I hope it's going well. If not, just stay with it. Trust me, okay? Now we're going to start to move on the ground, right? So you need a little bit of space, right? So again, think very light now. So I put a thought in my head, very light movement, light breathing, soft breathing. And then the feeling for me is like I'm barely touching the ground. It's like really soft. So as I kind of move through the ground, it's really soft. My breathing is soft. My body is soft, and I allow my energy to go everywhere. When I'm heavy, I push my relaxation or I relax down. When I want to be light, I relax up. I know it sounds kind of funny, but I relax up, right? Think about people that are stubborn. They relax into their opinion, right? When you relax, you can still have an opinion, but relax out and you see other people's perspective, right? So when you want to be light, You just have to allow your relaxation to go everywhere, up, sideways, it's everywhere. When I want to be heavy, I relax down. I relax this way. So I'm still moving, but I'm relaxing kind of down, right? Um, you do the same thing with walking. When it's very windy, you still walk, but you relax down because you don't want to get pushed over, right? When it's windy outside. So start to move on the ground and be light, relaxed everywhere, soft in your breathing, soft in your movement, and light in your movement on the ground. And then I'll tell you when to go heavy, but we'll cue it up. So right now, think light, breathe light. If you lose the breathing, stop and get it back. Okay, so think light, breathe light, and move as light as you can on the ground. Okay, go ahead. Good guys. So let me give you a little bit more advice. So everybody knows, I have different ways of explaining it. For me, I call this hippie systema. You know, the hippies, they're like, well, you know, you ever watch the hippies dance, right? Compared to the old ways, it's like they're free to go everywhere. You know, the way they dance, the way, you know, they kind of move around. It's a hippie systema rolling around on the ground. It's free. You didn't care what people think. You're very open to any direction. You're like a butterfly flying everywhere, right? So think of yourself now like back in the 60s as a hippie. And imagine if Systema came to California back then and people practiced, how would they practice? And that in my head puts me in a good place to see the movement. It's like very free, but it's not traditional, right? It's very open and free. So think about any movement in any direction, but not necessarily as a martial artist per se, but very light. Okay. Now, as a martial art application, you would need to know how to move like this, not so much on mats, because the mats are just mats. But imagine if we were outside where there's some stones and sticks and things like that. You need to be light because you don't know how it'll go, right? So you need to be, when the ground is uneven, you'll have an advantage because you have the ability to move softly, right? And you light because the other situation, right? So think of it like that. So it's like either think of hippie systema and expressing that to somebody, or think of rolling around on like uneven surfaces with dirt and stones and stuff like that, right? Because now here in Toronto, we're able to go outside now and train, and it's different than the mats. Even last time I taught outside, it was grass in a field. And the grass is funny because it's not nice grass, it's dry grass. So it's kind of sharp. As you move on it, it kind of pokes you a little bit, right? So every move, your body is kind of soft, with a little mini pokes, right? So have that idea for just a minute and then we'll come back. Okay, try it. Go. Start to move like a hippie or like on uneven surfaces. Okay, good. Now, heavy. So think about something heavy, somebody on top of you. So if you want if you want a traditional martial art approach, imagine somebody on top of you wrestling. So the person's on top of you, right? The weight of the person, right? That's one way. Or you can just imagine something on your back, right? So you're heavy, you're relaxing down, right? So as you move, you feel all the time your movement is directed that way, not everywhere, okay? Or I could imagine I'm wrestling and I have somebody under me. So I want to hold them. You know what I mean? I want to hold them with my weight. So either I have somebody on top of me pushing me down, or I'm on top of somebody pushing them down. So I always push my weight that way. No matter which way, I'm always pushing my weight towards the ground, okay? So think heavy, breathe heavy, and channel your relaxation to the ground now. 2 minutes, try it. Awesome, guys. Come close. Could you get it? Could you get the feeling of that heaviness and lightness? Could you get it? Feeling, and it's a process, a feeling and a process, not so much an action, right? Really, it's a byproduct. You have to breathe and do. That's the process you need to make sure you understand now, okay? We're going to try it with standing now. So just standing, walk, and then with kind of running. So there's heavy running would, if you're thinking of walking, you can think of up the hill, right? So when you run up a hill, you're quite heavy because gravity is pushing you. And when you go down the hill, you're quite light, right? Because the gravity is working. So you can think about, as you're walking, think about like going up a hill a little bit. And when you're going, and when you want to be light, you think about going down the hill, okay? So stand up. Just gonna sit so I can see you for a second. So first stand, just stand, right? So try to just imagine standing like you are, let's say, at a bus stop or something like that. Something very nothing. You know, you're just standing up. There's no specific reason. You're just standing up for something very trivial, a bus stop, something like this, okay? And now try to imagine standing, but for something heavier, like maybe standing in front of somebody who's in danger. And now all of a sudden you see you become a little heavier. So just change your thinking, then change your breathing, and then watch what happens. And then light in your head. So in your head, maybe think, I'm just waiting for the bus. Soften your breathing. Don't move the body too much. And then watch how the way you stand becomes lighter. It's not so heavy. So in other words, when you're light, your energy and your weight and relaxation go everywhere. When you start to think or say, oh, geez, I'm in front of somebody I have to protect, it's more serious. Your breathing speeds up. And your relaxation comes down to the floor and you feel heavier. Just guys, even in your mind, think about the question, what do you stand for? Look how heavy that question is. If you ask somebody, what do you stand for? You see that it's already a heavy question, right? So think about it. Standing is not just standing. Sometimes it's for nothing. Other times it's for very important things. So try the difference between standing. So stands for just no good reason, just light reason because you wanted to see something. And then other times think about standing for more serious things. And you see right away the breathing changes. It will change when it's more serious and you become heavier. When you become light or the reason is light, avoid the urge to wiggle. Try to just be relaxed and calm and light without feeling flimsy. Like there's strength in being light, guys. There's strength in having an open mind. It doesn't mean you have to wiggle. So you change your mind, you change your breathing, you change the weight. Either lighter or heavier, depending on how you're thinking and how you're breathing. Very good. Put something nice and light in your head, like you're just going for a nice walk. Just start to walk on the spot, like kind of march on the spot. Yeah, just, you can move around if you like. It doesn't matter. If you have room, take a few steps, but it's very light. Just think of walking around your kitchen. You know, you're just doing the dishes or moving stuff around the house. Nothing serious, very light. Your breathing should be light and your movements should be light. It should feel, you don't even barely feel your feet beneath you. They're so light. No, don't step heavy. Nice and light steps. Soften your knees, soften your back. Al, keep your head up. Keep your head. When you push the head down, you start to think for sure. Don't do that. I know because I do. And now, try to imagine walking around for like something more serious, like you've lost something. You've lost your car keys. It's something more serious. And you're looking, you're walking, but it's heavier. You feel, you relax down more. So your steps, you feel your steps now. So think about something heavy that you're walking for, you know, something problem you have, or you lost your keys, or somebody upset you, but they're not there, and you're just walking around, and it feels heavy because the breathing is heavy, because your thoughts are heavy. Awesome, guys. Very good. Come close, please. How was it with the walk? Did you find
Manny,
it? Yeah.
I felt that when I focus on myself too much, I get really heavy. Like if my worries and things like that. But when I'm looking at outside the window or thinking about other things, it lightens me a lot.
This is interesting. You know, when you ever meet people when you have a problem and you start to say it, right? All of a sudden it becomes lighter. You know, that's why they get people to talk, right? This is the biggest problem we have in our society. People don't talk because everyone thinks they're unique, but they're not that unique. All the problems are the same. I can tell you guys from my experience, I've had so many personal conversations with lots of you. It's not that special. I hate to break it to you. I had the same problem too in most cases. So because of that, imagine going to the doctor. The worst thing is, doctor, what's that? I've never seen that. It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. When the doctor says, "Coleman, it's okay," you know, all of a sudden you feel lighter because it's now it didn't keep it inside you, right? So remember, guys, first you fix how you think, then you fix your breathing, because the breathing is the window to the outer world and the inner world. You understand that? So when the breathing allows thought to come out. So first you think, then you fix the breathing. So if you want to be light breathing. If you want to be heavy breathing. It depends on what you got to do. This is very important. If you have to have a heavy conversation, it's normal. Heavy conversations happen. It's okay. If you need to be light, you need to decide based on the situation when you need to be light and when you need to be heavy. That's it. And this is the story of life, guys. You need to know when to be firm and when to be agreeable. You understand that, right? You're not just general, like, well, whenever the situation happens, right? If you need to be serious, heavy, then you need to know how to do it the right way. The right way is in your mind, your breathing, and your actions that you do, right? So this is important, right? Guys, I don't know about your father. When my father was about to get angry, I could see in his mind what he was thinking. I saw the breathing change, and I knew what was going to come. I knew, like, it was quite processed, right? And many times in our life, we can get stressed, guys. It's okay, but you have to know how to fix it. So this will help you right away. In many cases, the breathing was heavy, but you don't want to be heavy. You want to try to fix that in your mind. Lighten the breathing, lighten the mind, all the actions follow in place. Okay? We'll continue more with this idea. Okay, I promise you.
So Manny, when I was doing the heavy walking or the light walking,
Yeah.
it actually really felt heavy when I wanted to be heavy and light when I wanted to be light. Now, physics will tell us the weight is weight on gravity and the force going downwards. Is this is this a real perception that's going on? It's just an outside question.
Yeah.
Is it something that we're actually feeling? Is it just sort of like I don't know how to describe it, but can you see where I'm going with
I know
that?
exactly where you're going. Like, I could swear, like, when I'm thinking light, I feel light. Now, is it real? Probably not. But that doesn't matter because we create our reality, John. That's the reality. We're creating it in our head. You know, people don't know what they sound like. Is that real? Of course it's real. But do you care? Not really. Like, you just understand that how you think and how it makes a lot. Like, how you think is very important. It's a real thing. Thoughts are things to me. Like, they're real things. It's like a fist. The thought in your head. Actually, the thought in your head maybe is more important. I've seen people have great ability, no thoughts in their head, they don't do anything. Other people have one idea in their head and they'll build the Acropolis. You know, seriously, it's crazy. You ever met a kid that was, had one thought in their head and they couldn't get rid of it? They're gonna make that happen. They're the scary people. You know, they're the real scary. They're the one. So really make sure you're checking what's on your mind. Okay, that's really important. Okay. So thank you guys. I'm sorry, I gotta go
Good
run.
class, thank you.
Kids class Wednesday for more. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye everybody. Have a good day.
Bye, Manny. Thank you. You too. Thank you. Thanks everyone.